When we talk about purpose, one of the biggest things we can do is raise our kids well. It keeps us up at night, right? How are our kids going to turn out? How are they going to do? How are they going to be successful in life? How can we help them? And sometimes, though, folks, we get in our own way. It happens in education all the time. We get in our own way. We get in the way of the students that are really just trying to do amazing things really on their own. How can we support them? Career education is a big part of that, but it's bigger than that. And we're going to talk about that next. Mike Parry on the Purpose Under Pressure podcast. The heat is on. Let's get cooking. This is Purpose Under Pressure. It's a podcast about people, business folks, leaders, organizations, people who are trying to get something done on purpose, and the pressures and the storms that seem to mount just when we get close, right? We're almost there and there comes something to knock us down. Well, that's what Purpose Under Pressure is all about. Thank you for joining us. If you've been here before, you know the drill. We're going to talk about the things that go right and the things that go wrong and how we get across it. If you've not seen the show before and you like it, would you do me a favor? There's a little button right there. Just go ahead and subscribe. Maybe give us a like or a follow. Tell your mom, tell your friends, whatever it might be. The more people that know about it, the more we get a chance to motivate and change. And that's what this show is all about, is helping other people get over the hurdles. So I appreciate that. Purpose Under Pressure is brought to you by my friends at Sandler by the Ruby Group, serving sales professionals nationwide from their Akron, Columbus, Ohio locations. They're also in Jacksonville, Florida. They provide sales training, business growth, and all the things that businesses need to drive revenue, but more importantly, deepen relationships. Sales is not the old kind of sales. Sales is about solving problems. Sales is about bridging gaps, creating opportunities. That's what your sales team ought to be doing, and that's what Sandler by the Ruby Group is going to help you with. You can check them out online at therubygroup.sandler.com. One of the fun things about doing this show is that I get to reconnect with old friends, because old friends sometimes are out making the world a whole better place somewhere different. And I'm excited for you to meet an old friend. Now, he's not old. He's just an old friend. He's Mike Parry, superintendent with Grant Career Center in Bethel, Ohio, just east of Cincinnati. And Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bryan. And I appreciate the comment that I'm not old, but every day I keep getting a little bit closer, I think.
And it's okay to realize that, isn't it? I think the problem is when you say, no, I'm not old. I'm not
Yeah.
old. It's
Honestly,
good.
I think it's important to realize that, because I can't do what I used to do.
No.
And sometimes I try and it doesn't work out.
I went out for a run the other day. I love to run. But this particular time I went out for a run and came back and my niece said, I don't think you're going to want to do that. And that was a new thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. Is that how this works? It's just one little incremental by incremental. It's still feeling a little bit like, I told you. Welcome to the show, Mike. You are a superintendent down at Grant Career Center. And you know that I've been on the way where we met was I was on the Career Center school board here at Ashland. And I've got a deep conviction for career education based on that experience and based on a lot of things that even you taught me and have been teaching the kids. And I'm interested in the things you're accomplishing in Grant and the things that you stand for. And tell me, what's going well. Brag a little bit, okay?
Yeah, Grant Career Center is an awesome place. Ashland County West Homes is an awesome place, and I will forever be grateful to my experience there in Ashland and the board in Ashland for giving me a shot. Right, it was my first superintendency, so they rolled the dice on me, and hopefully I was able to do some good things there and get Ashland County West Homes on an improved trajectory. Not that it was in a bad one, but continue efforting towards greatness. And I know they're doing some great things up there, and I'm really excited about it. The opportunity, Grant Career Center is an awesome place, right? We're in a like you said, east of Cincinnati, in a very small, rural, blue collar area where we have a lot of students, a lot of families in general that need help and support. And we have the blessing of the opportunity that we're able to help those young people. We're doing some good things here. We're growing like gangbusters. When I started here in 2018, we had 296 students in this building. This year we have about 525 students in this building. So we're not a large operation, but we're growing significantly. One of the challenges that we face actually is our neighbor is the largest career center in maybe in the United States. The Great Oaks, they are huge, and they occupy half the county that we're in. Half of Claremont County is served by the Oaks. The other half is served by
Really?
Grant, which creates some challenges for us. So
So do your kids have the option to go one or the other?
no, it's really based on their district of residency, just like it
Okay.
is in Ashland. Um, but they just in 1960 or 70 when they were picking these creating the career technical planning
Uh-huh.
districts, they let districts choose where they were going to go, and half of Claremont County went with the Oaks, and the other half decided to kind of go it on their own
And the rest
in
is
Grant
history.
Career Center, which was a wonderful decision for us. But it also, the four that decided to go on their own in our county are the smallest districts and the most rural districts, and frankly, probably the poorest. And so it's created challenges, which I like to think of as opportunities.
Opportunities.
Yeah,
And that's kind of what I was thinking, because if that's, I don't know much about that county. Ashland County is a relatively struggling, as
yeah,
far as income and jobs
yeah.
and things of that sort. So I imagine it's a little bit similar. Where does career education, why was it so down if it's a poorer area? Because that's typically where you make more money. A lot of those kids can't afford to go to college or things of that sort. Why was it down, and why do you think it's improved at this
Yeah.
point?
My I'm going to guess, right, because I wasn't here at the
Yeah.
time, but my guess, our whole industry, like so many industries, just like your industry, is all based on relationships, right? And so my guess is at the time Grant Career Center wasn't doing a good enough job of getting out into our partner districts, into our business and industry partners, uh, to hear what are their needs and how can we mobilize our resources to go meet those needs. They were we were too insular at the time, and for a long time, and I don't want to get too technical, we had two fully functioning power plants, coal fire power plants in the district. It's like having your own ATM. They literally printed money for us in tax
Wow.
dollars, so they never had anything to worry about. So they could really do financially. They never had anything to worry about. They could do whatever they wanted, and the
Wow.
money was still going to be flowing in through the tax base because of these
Yeah.
power plants. So they never had to really learn to be responsive.
They just kind of coasted a little bit,
Just
right?
coasted along,
Okay. Yep.
and eventually the environment around them changed, and we didn't adapt quite as quickly as we needed to that new environment. And I think, fortunately, I was able to come in and say we got to make some changes. And one of the true asset that we have here at Grant Career Center is the culture of the staff. They love kids in a way that unlike any school I've ever worked at before. When I can explain an initiative to the staff and show them how it's going to have a positive impact on students, when I start with the why and show them that it's going to have a positive impact, they will literally do anything that I ask, and do it smilingly, and take risks and take chances, because they think it will help students. Um, and so it's been a kind of an easy change once we let them know that they could take risks and do good things for students, and had the opportunity to do that. I just get out of their way and watch the magic happen.
Well, that's great leadership, and that's something that the kids probably appreciate, and they're growing because of that. And I'm interested a little bit in the economy down there, and the scale for career education. That I assume that it's similar to where it has been, where the schools are, say, you have three options: you either go to college, you go to military, or you get a job. That's the way it's always been.
Yes,
And this career education has had a stigma of, or you can go to the career thing.
right.
But these businesses, at least here and everywhere, need people with
Dying for
skills,
them
and they can go to work right now.
right now.
What's the culture like down there? And tell me a little bit about the business environment, how you're prepping your kids to kind of win-win and everybody
Yeah,
grow
and
together, right?
I think, because of the demographic of our district, right, where we are rural and we are a lower socioeconomic district, some of those things we don't have as much of a problem with some of those things because of that, right? We have a lot of blue collar workers that understand
They're going to work.
that what the skills will get for you, and so it's been easier for us to win the moms, as they say, right? Once mom decides this is a good place to go, we're pretty well able to do that here, and they've decided that in our community, and it's been less of a battle because so many of our folks come from that sort of environment, right? When I ask my student body, how many of you, how many of you know someone who's gone to the Career Center, they're saying my dad did, my mom did, right? My uncle did, well, whoever it is. It's a family legacy thing to come to the Career Center because they know they'll get a good job out of it. And then when I ask the business industry about, who are you looking for? They're saying, I'm looking for those kids. I'm looking for the kid that wants to work hard, but can get along with other people, right? That can figure out how to solve a problem, that can, not be on drugs and show up to work every day. And that's what we do here, right? Mm-hmm. We talk about some of those really rudimentary basic things that will help them be tremendously successful.
So if things are kind of set up, that path is set up, what for you, when you go to bed at night, what's keeping you up then? What's the thing that you're trying to overcome so that you can grow and serve the kids better, serve the community even better than you already are?
So we've the thing that's keeping me up now, right? We've been really fortunate in Career Tech in Ohio that we are we're in a spotlight, right? We've been doing some good things. We've been working really hard for a lot of years to say, look at the good things statewide that we're doing through our associations, through our connections to Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Houston, now Senator Houston, right? They have, pardon me, they have frankly drank the Kool-Aid, right? We've been preaching our own word, and they say, oh, this is pretty good stuff, and they have now put a lot of eggs in our basket, and they've said Career Tech and Ohio Career Tech's system is the future of Ohio. Well, now what keeps me up at night is thinking, well, now we have to deliver. Oh boy, they're really watching here, right? They gave me, a couple of years ago, they gave me almost $10 million in a grant to renovate my school here. Right, they gave me another $2.5 million to buy some new equipment. They're not doing. They have an expectation that we have tremendous success, right, after delivering those dollars. And I'm confident that we can deliver on that. But it does make me nervous, right? The people are now watching, right? Now when the spotlight's on you, the pressure really comes up. The other thing that they're talking about, which makes me nervous, is they know Career Tech works well. They also know that we only have 49 joint vocational school districts in the state of Ohio,
right,
who are all running at or above capacity for the most part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That means I can't serve more kids.
And that's not
good. So how am I going to continue to deliver Career Tech? How can I creatively deliver Career Tech in the greater school system, right? In the K-12 system, right? How could Ashland City Schools deliver Career Tech on their own? Which is right? It's what we need to do for students. We know that. We know Career Tech works. We want to give it to more students, but they're asking me to give, my core competencies away to someone else to deliver. Right? Somewhere in that environment, I become less important. Right? When they start doing it, and I become less relevant. So there's a balance, right? How do we continue to spread Career Tech out through more mechanisms, but at the same time ensure that the quality is going to be there, centered through the Career Technical Planning District or the JVS.
Yeah, and I'll ask the question: which is more important? Which is more important? Is it the fact that more kids get access to the qualifications and the teaching and instruction? Or is it that the career centers stay viable?
Great
That's
question.
A tough one.
And I don't know the answer to that. I think, well, from my seat, I'm going to tell you it's going to be the viability of the career centers because I happen to be the superintendent of one of those. Yeah. But it falls upon us and leaders in my position to really begin thinking more creatively
I think so
about
too.
the hows there, right? It's not an or question. It should be an and
Yeah,
question,
I
right? So
think
we've
that's right.
designed this thing that we're doing in a couple of our associate schools now, where we're utilizing their staff members to deliver career technical education of our program, right? I still own the program, but I'm borrowing their staff member to deliver it. It works well for that associate school, one, because they're getting the career tech uh, delivery. This is really at the middle school level, right? So it's
Hmm.
a great way to discover new and different careers that you might not have been exposed to by mom or dad. But it works well from that regard, from a curriculum delivery standpoint. But also, there's some mechanisms that I can actually pay. I can actually give that associate school district more money by doing it that way.
Hmm.
And so they have a business argument to say we should keep that program with the career center, but deliver it within our own building. And it works really well. And honestly, it's catching on like gangbusters.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so what is there any pushback to that? I remember I was on the school board with the city schools, and I was on the
Yeah.
school board with the career education. And part of the job, I also did some marketing work with the career education before I was on the school board. The job was, how can we get to the middle schoolers faster so that we can create more students?
Yep.
Well, whether
Yep.
that worked or not, or whether it's just the economy that's changed and everything, we now have more students than we can handle.
Right. Right.
The same argument was that the superintendent at the city schools or the county schools, every one of those students generated federal dollars or state dollars. I don't
Yep.
want my kids going somewhere else. I'll
Right.
take care of my kids here. And there was
Right.
pushback there. What's the
Yeah.
pushback now? If we know where we're heading,
Yeah.
what is it like now trying to build those relationships?
It's the pushback remains the same, right? The
My kids,
financial
don't touch my
setup.
kids.
Don't touch my kids.
Oh man.
Right. Those are my dollars that you're taking. Right. And
Mm,
and even through the we've had an evolution of the funding model since I've left Ashland. Right. We fund schools differently than we used to, but it's still the same problem. There still is the same systemic problem that has always existed, that it's one pot of money and we're all trying to grab the same dollars out of that pot of money. If we look, our neighbors in the West, Oklahoma, they have a brilliant system. They have two pots of money, right? So career tech's going to get paid and K-12 is going to get paid no matter
mm,
what.
mm. And
So
everybody off on
now
their
it's
own.
really, it's not a financial decision.
You
It's a
earn it.
what's best for kids
Hmm.
decision,
Hmm.
which is a much preferable play, a much better place to be.
Hmm.
Um, but anyway, what has changed in this environment is honestly, it's taken an evolution of thinking, I think, on our part, on career tech's part, and frankly, a little bit of innovation on our part at Grant Career Center to utilize that funding model in a way that can be mutually beneficial to both of us. Right? If I think about my mission, it's to better prepare and equip my community's learners,
Hmm.
not my students, but my community's learners, which is a larger
Big
group
picture.
of students, right? So if that's my mission, then just figuring out how to get more career tech out there is what my board is charging me to do.
Hmm.
So we've designed this, we call it the career discovery model, as a way to get more career tech to everyone, explore more careers, right? Have a better understanding of the depth and breadth of opportunities for their future to more students, and make it and do it in a way that is not detrimental to the finances of our associate schools. And we've been able to do that. Now, don't tell my secret, Bryan, but the long game is in my favor,
Yeah.
right? Like I know that. Like
Why is that? What do you mean by that?
if I connect a middle schooler with
Yeah.
this idea that I want to go into construction or even construction management or whatever it is, they're going to come through the career center in their 11th and 12th grade years to get to that end. Right. The more they know about careers early, the more they know about the varying career options, the better off my future looks. Right. Because they're more informed and they see that the career center is a good pathway to the future that they want.
Isn't it also that you mentioned the construction? You've got your programs and you've got your typical kids that you would expect to come into those programs. But isn't it also, if I want to be an engineer or if I want to be an architect or if I
Yeah.
want to be a health science? I mean, isn't that also career education,
Yeah.
why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't
Amen.
every school be career
Amen.
focused? Am I missing that?
Amen.
Looking at the typical salesperson, everything they do day in and day out, if we simplify all of that and really boil it down, they have two superpowers. First superpower that salespeople have is how they behave. Second superpower they have is what they say. As a seller, we only have two problems. We either said something or did something that we should not have said or done, or we didn't say something or do something that we should have said or done.
Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't
Amen.
every school be career
Amen.
focused? Am I missing that?
Amen. They should all be career focused, but the challenge is how do you, if we lean back on the career pathway model that was developed in the early 90s, right? There are 16 career pathways for all the jobs in the state of Ohio. I'll say it's really in the world. You don't have the capacity at Ashland City Schools or at Bethel Tate Local Schools where I'm standing to deliver all 16 of those pathways. You just simply don't have the capacity.
No.
That's
Especially
why
now that those have all expanded and exploded into 100 different things through those pathways.
correct all these subcategories
Well,
within
you
that
can
one
do anything
pathway.
you want nowadays, right? Yeah.
Right. Right. So it's really about partnership, and it's really about thinking about how can the career center be a partner, how can my post-secondary institutions be a partner, how can business and industry be a partner to show students what these opportunities are, and the reasons why they should take advantage of this. The students and the parents, right? Why is the career center a better option?
Yeah. Why is that just as important or differently important in the same way? And I'm interested in this because I just see the world this way. If I want to be a construction worker, I might also want to own my own construction
Right.
company. And
Right.
if I want to own my own construction company, I'm probably going to hire people and I'm probably going to pay taxes. Like I need more than just the ability to swing a hammer
Right.
and to draw with a compass.
Right.
I need all the skills. And yet,
Right.
if I want to run a business and be a construction company, I better know how to swing a hammer.
Sure. And
Right?
and but that career development needs to happen over the lifespan of your career, right? I wasn't ready
Can't do it
to
all
be
in
a
school. Okay.
correct.
Yep.
And you got to go have that on the job experience, but then you have to decide on that job that, you know what, I think I want to move into an office position here. Am I prepared and equipped to do that? No, I might need some more schooling. So I have to bounce back into the educational system, uh, continue my education. Maybe it's just rudimentary, right? How do I run QuickBooks? Or maybe I need an associate's in business. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to bounce back and I'm going to continue to learn on the job and work on the job. And I think that's what the future of education looks like: this continual bounce of a student
Yeah.
from the workforce into education and back to the workforce. And maybe those two things are happening simultaneously.
It's very interesting. The analogy keeps coming into my head, and I don't know if it's accurate or not. I'm not even sure how it'll come out. But I'm thinking about a football team, and I'm thinking about offense and defense, and it's one team, and the goal is to win. And yet, if I'm on offense, hey, I'm on offense. You take care
Yep.
of yourself over there on defense. And if
Yep.
I'm on defense, I'm like, hey, why don't you move the ball a little faster? We're doing our thing. It's almost like the way it's set up is that we're all trying to do what's best for ourselves in order to do what's best for kids.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way that we can all come together and make this happen. I'm interested, Mike. What is your vision? Like if you were the Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
and you could do it like this, and it has nothing. You could fix the funding, and you could fix the territorials, and whatever that is getting in the way. Talk about
Yeah.
purpose under pressure. If you could manage that pressure, how would it look?
I think it would be getting back to allowing districts to recognize what they are best in the world at, right? And giving districts the permission to say, I'm not best in the world at this, or maybe at anything. You need to go over there to get that. And right now, when they say that, right, the dollars flow away from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we have to have enough courage to say, I shouldn't be in this business anymore, right? It doesn't make sense to have a district this size, or we're wasting money having a district this size. We should consolidate. We should partner with other districts to deliver, to become more efficient and more effective, right? We have 600 plus school districts in the state of Ohio. It's way too many.
Yeah.
But frankly, it's just horribly inefficient, because every one of them has a superintendent and a treasurer who's sitting next door in the office next door to me.
Yeah.
It's horribly inefficient. What I would say is we need a wholesale redesign that incorporate the career tech and the K-12 together, and get some people out of the business, and ensure that we have the people who are best in the world at doing what they do, right? And having the courage to say, I'm not best in the world at that.
That's the key. That's the key. And that's a successful business, right? That sounds like good to great to me. And the hedgehog concept of what am I the best at? And so many businesses are afraid to have that conversation because you're only the best at one thing.
Yeah.
That's the other side of that coin. You have to figure out what that thing is, but you also have to realize that you're not the best at everything.
Yeah.
So, and boy, that's a great analogy.
I'll give you an example of how I've done a great job of doing that wrong. Here at Grant,
great job of doing that wrong.
Yeah,
I like that.
I made a strategic error, and it's coming to catch me. We offer an associate's degree here on campus, and I was really excited about that when I came here. I was really it was an initiative that I worked hard on establishing with the University of Cincinnati to offer an associate's degree in manufacturing, engineering, technology here on campus. So a kid can come here in their junior year. They work through all of the technical programs all the technical courses on our campus. They can do the academic courses either online or with academic instructors here, and they can graduate in their senior year with an associate's degree. Awesome program, awesome opportunity for kids. It doesn't cost a kid anything, right? And we, through the CCP program, we pay for the whole thing. It could be life-changing to our populations here.
Yeah.
Sounds great. It's exactly in line with where we want to go, and it's the partnership and the whole thing was working out. Where I've gone horribly wrong is, through no fault of anybody, COVID and everything else has caused challenges for that program to exist. We launched the program with COVID, so we've never been able to fully enroll that program. Well, because of that, UC has, for their own strategic reasons, sensible reasons, have began pulling some of those programs back to their campus, which is 15 miles away here, still in the county, right? But just up the road. Some of those programs, some of those classes are getting pulled back. So we, because we wanted to provide the service to kids, have been figuring out how we can provide more and more of that on our own. Right, using my staff, using my resources to deliver those college classes. Well, the misstep, the misalignment is, I am not best in the world at that.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be good at it, right? But I'm working hard because I have a good reason to do it, right? And this is how this happens to company. They have a reason. They have a really good strategic reason.
There's a customer that wants it.
Yep. But I'm blowing it, right? And so now it's really hard to get out, right? Because I have made promises to kids. So now we're in the process of how do you strategically disinvest or shift directions that's going to continue to be supportive of students and meet their needs, but really gets us out of the business of what we're never going to be great at. Yeah. So that's what we're taking on now.
Tremendous. And I think that has a little bit of that whole Wizard of Oz thing that we talked about. Like if you could do it this way, how would you do it? It's bully for you though, for trying and getting it done and realizing somewhere along the line that, holy cow, wait a minute, hold on. Because it's what matters to kids. These kids, our youth, they've got one shot.
Yep.
They come through school, they sit in their 8th grade class, they sit in their 10th grade class, they go to career education, whatever they do, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
You get them one time. And to realize that you missed the boat here, and to realize that there's got to be something, because every single one of these kids, I mean, we can't waste an education. We can't waste a minute.
Nope.
We don't get that minute back.
And
that youth, that student takes that minute with them forever. We missed an opportunity.
Yeah, and part of the challenge that we face right now is that in so many cases we're setting our own kids up to miss those minutes because of our own
Because we missed it.
prejudices, because of our own ignorances. Right? No, you can't go to the career center. That's
Right.
for those kids.
It's for
Right?
those kids. And I
Yeah,
want to talk about that real quick as we wrap up.
yeah,
What do you say to parents? Parents, I'm a parent. I've got kids 20 years old is my youngest. We've
yep,
been through it. And I was like, hey, you got to go to college, got to go to college because my
yep,
parents told me I got to go to college and I did. And it worked out.
yep.
But the world has changed. What do you tell parents to help them make the right decisions to help their kids? One thing is you got to be involved. Don't just let your kid figure it out themselves.
Yep.
That didn't work.
Yep.
But what else? So I just put the words in your mouth. You can argue with me if you want. What do you tell mom and dad when Junior in 10th grade is kind of trying
Yeah.
to figure it out?
Yeah. I tell mom and dads always that I think college is in their kids' future. It just might not be next. Right? Let's let them. I truly believe that everyone is going to continually continue their education over the lifespan of their career in the 21st century. They are always going to be bouncing back for more technical development, for just expanded knowledge and growth, so they can advance in a company. They are going to do that. They're going to go to continuing education.
Love that.
Where we have gotten it wrong in our system is that we've assumed that's always next for the student.
Yeah.
It's likely not. Like, go to work and then have that company pay your freight to go to college. They will. They all. There's so many colleges. There aren't many colleges at all, except for the mom and pop shops, right? The really small ones that we have a lot of down here and are doing wonderful work and are wonderful employers. But if any corporation out there is going to have a tuition reimbursement policy, they're going to help you pay for school. You just got to go to work.
We got to change the paradigm, don't we?
Yeah, we have to just
Gotta
change
change the
our thinking,
paradigm.
and really are thinking about the timeline of when these things happen, not whether or not they need to happen, just when they happen.
And not whether or not coming out of college you have a job and you have everything's all put together. You know, I went to college. I'm not doing anywhere near, although I do
Right.
have a microphone and I went to be a DJ,
Sure.
and so okay.
Sure.
But it takes a long turn. And some of the
Yep.
greatest things I learned about business, I learned from my last boss, Jeremy, over at Spire. I
Yeah.
didn't learn that in college. And
Right.
some of the great things I learned about leadership, I learned from the serving on the school boards.
Yeah.
And the things I learned about motivation and showing up every day, I learned from a high school track coach.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not what you learn with your butt in your seat.
Yep.
It's what you learn when you're doing, and that's kind of what career education is doing. I love this conversation. I think we could have it forever. I'm out of time. I love what you're doing there. If people wanted to reach out to you to learn more about what you're doing at Grant, or even just about your philosophies on life,
Yeah. They could.
how would they do that?
Yeah, they can email me at mike.parry, Parry, at grantcareer.com. They can check out Grant Career Center's website at grantcareer.com. And we'd be happy to answer questions or give. I'm an open book. We're an open book around here. We're firm believers in trust and openness, and so we love to talk about the good things we're doing.
I know you are. And I thank you very much for being on the show, folks. You can tell, and you've heard, I've done shows with educators before. That's where I get passionate, because it's about these kids, and we get in our own way. We old folks, I'll use the word old again. We get in our own way with our own prejudices and our own ideas of how it's meant to be, and we force it down on our kids. And our kids have got it way figured out. If we would only get out of their way,
Get out of their way.
and just allow them to be and support them, not leave them alone, support them to be successful, because they will be. No matter
They will
what,
be.
no matter what I do, and no matter what you do, Mike, our
In
kids are
spite
going
of
to be
us.
successful in spite
Yes.
of us.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's Mike Parry. He's a superintendent down at Grant Career Center, and I'm really glad that you were on the show. Thank you for being our guest on Purpose Under Pressure.
Thanks, Bryan.
Folks, this show is done every week, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. It's about getting over the things that are causing us issues, and that's what this show was all about. It's Purpose Under Pressure. It's brought to you by Sandler by the Ruby Group. Sellers are under pressure to perform. Sandler helps you to succeed on purpose. You'll find all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at bryanmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your favorite shows. We do this every week. I'm glad we do. I'm glad you're here. We'll see you next week on Purpose.